It's another day, the sun is shining. Got to know what's going on around you. Wake up, it's the time to motivate your mind. Come with me, let's make this moment brighter. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Come on and wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Hey.
Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise. I'm Anastasia Palacios.
Good morning, happy Monday to you. I am Philip Simon.
And it is certainly our joy to be back in your company, hoping that you had a wonderful weekend and that you're looking forward to a wonderful and exciting week.
Yeah, first off the bat, I want to say happy birthday to Stephen Gay. It's coming in from JD and the crew here. He had a birthday over the weekend. Another year older. Happy birthday to you, Stephen.
Happy birthday, Stephen, and certainly looking forward to this week of love. I'm dressed in my heart.
I see that.
This is a constant reminder to Godfrey and Phil. So if their wives tell me that they didn't get anything for Valentine's Day, guys, I did my part, and the rest is on them. But my husband always reminds me of Valentine's Day because his birthday is 2 days later.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I won't be here Friday, so I'm going to take the time now to wish him a very happy birthday. Happy birthday, Carlos, Cairo, and I appreciate you so much.
Aw.
We hope that you have a wonderful week, and we thank God every day that you were born.
Well, I'll tell you what, Carlos, if you don't get 2 gifts, you let me know. But listen, it was an interesting weekend. I mean, I just, social media is powerful. Social media is maddening. It's saddening. But, just to see, unfortunately, the murders and the hurt and the harm that still happens, man. Our young men are just still out there wreaking havoc and war upon each other. And I just want to say to the families of these individuals, of course, condolences, right? But I also want to say to the families out there, I mean, you know when something's not right, right? And we all have a collective responsibility to make it right, and before it's too late, right? And so we have one country. It's the greatest little country in the world. It's the most beautiful place in the world. So let's get back to being beautiful people.
Yeah, I have to agree, Phil. I think that's an excellent message to echo, and this is when I always emphasize to people that there is a gift or a talent inside of you that the world needs. And I think a lot of times we look at the problem and we get so overwhelmed by it. But if each of us would work in our part of the world that we find ourselves in, cultivating lives and inspiring our young people, if we would dedicate our time to things like JA or to other civic organizations, and even those in primary school level, so that we can reach our kids earlier on, we never know who we can save or who we can help. And so I really want to encourage us, of course, to not just sit back and say, this is a problem, but to find a way to contribute to bettering the solution.
Well, I tell you what, if you want to change the future, change a young person's mind. Congratulations to the speech contest winners over the weekend, Junior Achievement Ashton for New Providence. Of course, they had the church services, nationally speaking, in all the different islands. I must say, I'm going to make it there. Grand Bahama, you're next. So, listen, man, we got a great show lined up for you today. Atlantic Medical is back. The Great Zest Challenge was held this past weekend. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Dr. Carlos Thomas is also in the studio. He's going to be talking about the measles outbreak that is happening in the USA. And Naughty.
Yep.
Naughty is celebrating, I think it's the 10th anniversary of Love Fest.
Yeah, man.
Time has flew.
Yeah, time has gone.
And he's still doing his thing.
It's amazing how fast time has gone by. But yeah, Naughty's definitely one of those people just, operating in his lane, doing his thing, loving comedy and bringing it to everyone to bring some laughter. So looking forward to that segment as well. We also are continuing our HBCU series. Now, HBCU standing for Historically Black Colleges and Universities. And of course, my family's in the house. The first fam that is the Brothers of the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity and my sisters of the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority. We're going to be learning more about how successful people have been going through the HBCU system, and of course encouraging you to apply right now. Those deadlines fast approaching if you've got college-bound students in the house.
I must say, I admit, it seems as though all of you are outstanding. I mean,
we really are, though.
I mean, brother, I can't say brother, but anyway, Andre is on the show today. That is my brother. You know, he's just an excellent person all around, and of course, lovely Laura.
Yeah, Laura, she's just amazing. Just amazing, brilliant mind. What she's done with business, but not just with business,
Yeah.
but with sports and
Yeah.
all around an excellent woman. And of course, she's an Alpha Kappa Alpha woman, so what did we expect? We're also going to be talking about the Bahamas Business Outlook Grand Bahama. That's coming up on the 21st of February, so we want to encourage you to tune into that. But before we get to any of that, we're going to take a first look at weather with Godfrey Burnside. Here he is.
Weather at sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First. First in insurance, today, tomorrow.
Thank you guys and good morning, Bahamas. In your first look at weather at sunrise, solid picture shows that we have some patchy clouds across the northwest Bahamas, with for the most part the high pressure dominates across the islands and some windy conditions over the next couple of days. In your marine forecast, weather, mix of sun and cloud, but breezy, and there's a chance of a few showers mainly across the northwestern islands, high temperature reaching 83 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight, we're looking at a few clouds on the mild side, low temperature going down to 69 degrees Fahrenheit. And some regional highs and lows across the Caribbean, Barbados 81 and 74. In Jamaica, 79 and 71. In Trinidad, 87 and 72. And the Turks and Caicos Islands, 83 and 70. Across North America, Atlanta, 62 and 43. In Raleigh, 53 and 39. In Miami, 78 and 70. Dallas, Texas, 62 and 49. And Toronto, Canada, 25 and 19. As we go through the week, we're looking at partly sunny, bit breezy. Those winds drop off by Thursday. We have another form of boundary to move at sometime late Thursday into Friday, but stall over the Grand Bahama Albuquerque on Friday with some couple of showers. So temperature daytime will be in the lower 80s, at nighttime in the upper 60s. That puts you up in your first look at weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to the show.
Thanks very much, Godfrey. And of course, I'm getting as excited as start doing these segments. All month long, we've been celebrating Black History Month, and the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity and the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority are with us in this celebration, of course, to highlight the significant achievements of Bahamians who have graduated from historically black colleges. Today, we take a look at Lincoln University. I believe that might have been the first one, and Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, FAMU. I almost made it there. We're very pleased to be joined by Laura Pratt-Charlton. I called her lovely in our opening segment, and indeed she is. Pharmacist, owner of Prescription Parlor. She's a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority and an alum of Lincoln University. And the distinguished Andre Moss, engineering and projects manager at Sun Oil Limited, and a member of Alpha Phi Alpha and a graduate of
FAMU.
All right. Good morning. Welcome
Good morning to you.
to Bahamas at Sunrise. So very pleased to have you on the show. I was telling Star as well, it just seems as though all of you are just such outstanding people, such outstanding graduates, well represented in the fields that you're in. But let's start with you, Laura. Lincoln University was America's first degree granting black college, HSBU.
Yes, it was in 1854, and I graduated from Lincoln in, when was that, 1985?
You're going to tell us?
Actually, I'm proud to say yes, I was an 85 graduate, and it was an awesome experience at Lincoln, yes.
Yeah. You know, so much history there in terms of, you know, that university, but what do you think really makes Lincoln just one of the special ones?
Lincoln is a very, very small university. Compared to most of the HBCUs, it may be one of the smallest. At the time when I went to Lincoln, we may have had about 1,500 students, and now I think they're trying to get to 2,000.
Yeah.
So it was a really tight-knit family. And for me, coming from a protected home, being as young as I was, it was perfect. It was a perfect fit. And the students at that time, everyone had to stay on campus, so you pretty much knew each other intimately because it was really and truly a family atmosphere.
Did you have a lot of persons from the Caribbean there at the time? I know certainly throughout the years that number has grown, but what was the feeling in the atmosphere like?
We did have a lot of Caribbean students, a lot of African students, and we had our fair share of Bahamian students. As a matter of fact, that was one of the reasons why I went to Lincoln. A friend at that time, Bernard, would have asked me what I was doing. I was at COB at the time, and recommended Lincoln. And of course, my parents loved it. It was a small school in the Bonies, so there was not too much, not too much distractions. No, definitely not. Just cornfields. But in terms of the academics, it was top-notch academics as well. So it was a fit for me.
Excellent. Of course, you've gone on to do great things.
Yes, definitely. They prepared me well because I went on from there to another HBCU, Howard University, to do my pharmacy degree.
All right, we were talking about Howard last week as well. Another great school. Andre, 92, 95, 97, FAMU successfully recruited more national achievement scholars than even Harvard. I see you got your flag here this morning.
FAMU.
You're representing.
Yes,
Tell us a little bit about that institution.
Well, FAMU been around about 130 years now.
Okay.
And I still say we, because even though I've been up from 94, we have about 70 different countries represented there. And I mean, the potential, like same thing as Laura said, the atmosphere, the culture, that's what I think really impressed me the most when I went there, recognizing that, hey, classmates, professors, they all look like me.
Right.
And I say, hey, he's a professor in chemistry or professors in engineering. So I felt right at home. I felt comfortable, and I realized that one thing that really stood with me even to this day, the time that they invested in me and us, other students, it was as if they were your parents.
Okay.
They didn't just worry about my academics.
Right.
They knew where I was from. They asked me about my family. They asked me about just as family members do. So they had a vested interest in making sure that I succeed in the class. Why? Because you have to be a success after graduation, as Laura just said.
It sounds like they took the whole educational experience to a different level, a personal level, which really makes a difference when you're coming obviously from different countries, but certainly just growing up and being in a whole new atmosphere. I mean, we heard about some of the wonderful graduates from some of the other universities, of course yourself included, but who are some of the more notable graduates from both of your institutions?
From local, we have Dr. George Sherman, the late Dr. George Sherman. He graduated from Lincoln. He was also a member of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity. We have Dr. John Goddard, Dr. Granville Bain, the late. Of recent times, we have the Mitchell clan, the Thurston clan, Rhonda and Mitchell Thurston, Dawn Davis, who's also a member of Alpha Phi Alpha, Warren Bain, another member of Alpha Phi Alpha. So we have quite a few persons, but internationally we have first presidents of Ghana, that's Nkrumah, and we have first president of Nigeria, we have Thurgood Marshall, and Langston Hughes. So we have quite a few, but initially Lincoln University was an all-male school for the first 100 years. And then they went co-ed after that and allowed us in, and we say thank you. But so we find that most of the physicians that would have graduated from university back then, first 100 years, about 20% of them would have come from HBCUs.
Yeah, that's excellent. And FAMU?
Well, we have, I know one of the most notable ones here, Carlos Maki, and the beat goes on. So every year, and basically I know a lot of the international ones. Obviously, when I went in, my President Dr. Brother Frederick Humphreys, I mean, a tower person in terms of recruiting minorities and getting them to come to university, to FAMU. So it's...
If you had an opportunity, you talk about elevator pitches all the time, but a lot of people are watching the show, especially parents thinking about where to send their kids, and it's that time of year is upcoming. What's the pitch? What's the 30-second pitch you would say, to both prospective students and parents as to why they should consider FAMU and why they should consider Lincoln?
I would say that first and foremost, the quality of education, top-notch academics. Personal family atmosphere, and the persons there are like us, and they're pushing us to be successful. So their main goal and objective is to be sure that you are successful once you have completed their programs, in whether you go into your career or for additional higher learning.
Yes, and just to add to that, like I said, the culture. It's an environment where, especially for Bahamians, I found, or international students, it should be impossible for you to fail going in that type of culture and that type of environment. And at the end of the day, you recognize that the networking and the resources, those are the two main things that you should be focusing on when you go there.
Yeah.
You know, and hey, if you want to make sure that your child is going to do well, especially if, you know, they may be undecided,
Yeah.
let them
Okay,
go to
great.
HBCU.
All right. Well, listen, Andre Law, thank you so much for joining us here on Bahamas at Sunrise. I want to thank you too,
Pleasure.
Andre, personally, for the tremendous support you gave me last year when I was going through that thing. Of
That's
course,
what we're
you,
here
Peter and
for.
Ricardo.
That's what
You're
we're here
watching
for.
Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Good afternoon. First response. How can I help you?
I've been in an accident on West Bay Street. Can you send someone to help?
Yes, ma'am. A first response team will be there in 15 minutes. Are you hurt?
No, I'm fine, but a bit upset.
We're glad you're not hurt. Please, try to relax. Our team will take care of everything as soon as they arrive.
First Response provides immediate on-site service and support from the scene of an accident through the claims and repair process. And it's free to all Bahamas First insured drivers in New Providence, every day for any type of accident. If you drive and want First Response on your side, call 321st or visit bahamasfirst.com for the name of an authorized Bahamas First agent. First Response can't prevent an accident from happening.
But it can certainly ease your mind when it happens.
Wait, that's Omar Little from The Wire. You think everyone is Omar from The Wire?
Wow, it's really nice to meet a fan.
It's like he's right here. Are you telling me he was being all type shows and stuff?
And you know, Rev Go Play plays a lot of good movies and TV shows.
Excuse me, can't you see we're watching something else? Rude.
Settle all your pop culture disputes with RevGo Play. Watch, record, and stream all your favorite shows wherever you are. Free for all Rev TV subscribers. Rev, you and us together.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. Atlantic Medical is a leading health insurer in the Bahamas with a progressive and robust health and wellness program available for their clients. Here to tell us more about the Great Zest Challenge event that happened this weekend, we're very happy to welcome Donovan Ingram. You know him well from being on the show with us here. He, of course, is the wellness coordinator at AMI, and Naval Miller, who often is with him as well. He's the assistant wellness coordinator. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning, thank you.
Always a pleasure to have you guys with us. Whenever you're here, I know that something good has happened in terms of health and wellness in the country, right?
Exactly.
And this weekend was the Great Zest Challenge.
Yes, it was. It was one of our most exciting wellness challenges yet. We've
Okay.
done a series of wellness challenges, but this one was a scavenger hunt amongst 7 different teams. We had
Okay.
teams of 5s,
Okay.
and they all had trivia questions to kind of figure out, to decide which location was the location to go to. The team that came back and arrived with all the trivia questions answered, the exercise done, was our grand winner this weekend.
All right, so I want to walk people through this because this is actually quite exciting. Donovan gave me the program this morning, and it did take me a while to figure this out. This is Bahamian history.
Right.
And if we watch My 5 Cents, we know us in Bahamian history, it's not always pretty
Right,
clear
yeah, I know.
where to go. But you found that the teams enjoyed themselves and had a good time.
Yes, definitely. The teams enjoyed themselves. They learned a lot about the Bahamian history as well,
Okay.
working as a group.
Okay.
Obviously, completing the exercises were a little bit challenging for the members, as I was at one of the locations where they stopped at.
Okay.
But all in all, it was fun. I even wanted to join in as well.
yeah, no, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking like, okay, I could do this myself. Like, I'm doing workouts as you get there, and that's exciting. And I think AMI makes exercise exciting and fun.
Yeah,
Talk to me about that.
We're trying to make it a little different, because we're trying to break the monotony. Because
Okay.
people always think you have to go to the gym or to be a part of this social or fitness club. But in fact, you can do things together. Families can do these kind of things. You just want to get persons out, get them out walking, get them experiencing the sunlight, breathing the fresh air, working together, creating some smiles. breaking that tension, you know, creating a mental wellness and also physical wellness for each individual is what we try to accomplish.
Yeah, and when you do that, it makes exercising something that people see as enjoyable
Exactly.
rather than something that people see as a challenge.
Second nature, you know, as opposed to saying that you have to plan towards it. It's something that you're doing without even really thinking about doing.
Right,
Okay.
exactly.
Awesome. And what was the prize for the winners of the competition?
So for the first team prize, they won $1,500 in gifts and prizes.
Okay.
Second team was just give me a reminder of that again. $1,000 in gifts and prizes.
Okay.
And third place was $500 in gifts and prizes for those
Okay,
members.
not bad at all for a
Not bad
five-member
at all.
team.
And we had groups from different organizations. We had Cable Bahamas, we had Alive, we have the Insurance and the Securities Commission of the Bahamas.
Okay.
First Caribbean Bank was there, the Life Key Club was there. Some groups I may have not mentioned.
Yeah, we had a team.
Scoopers.
Then, we had Colonial Group International as a team as well. We had the Securities Commission, which was combined with the Insurance Commission as well, being a part of this event.
And all physical levels. So it wasn't anything that we had any exclusions. We had persons of all types there, all ages, all genders. Everyone was there having a great time. It was a different thing. So this morning we are hopeful that these individuals can go back to their office spaces, and at the coffee station, the conversation is, what did you do this weekend?
Right.
It's the Great Zest Challenge, you know. So Naval and I are here grandstanding in a sense.
Yes.
We had such a great weekend with our clients. It was a great time to laugh and share some experiences with our clients, different from being in the office space, sitting down and being a bit stressed out.
This is awesome. And of course, when you're sitting in office space, and especially with the types of companies that you call, you can have a very sedentary lifestyle, right? So it's a lot of sitting, it's a lot of working, not a lot of time to get up and go walk and move, and you spend so much hours there that sometimes you can be exhausted when you're done. So this really is a good way to keep people getting momentum with their physical needs being met consistently. Will you guys continue the Zest Challenge? Because I know that this was the challenge weekend, but you guys have been doing the Zest program for a while now.
So our Zest program continues for all of our insured members. The Great Zest Challenge itself, we do hope to do that again next year. Hopefully we can have a little bit more teams. We only had 7, which is a great amount of participation, but we'd like to have it a little bit more exclusive, widen it for all of our members. So we have a lot more clientele coming in. We want to offer a little bit more prizes, obviously make the trivia a little bit more difficult, but we want to bring some smiles to our clients a little bit more, so we'll definitely do it again.
Okay. And how can people sign up to be involved with Atlantic Medical? I know certainly you offer group insurance, but do you have individual opportunities as well for people who want to just get their own personal health insurance with
Definitely. So we have a Solace plan, and individuals who are interested in maybe a plan for themselves or a plan for them, the spouse, and a sibling or offspring. And we have plans that are made up in that capacity, and you can. And any individual that is insured with us does have direct access to our Zest Wellness program. Simply enough, if you want to find out more information, give us a call. The number is 326-8191. Again, 326-8191. Ask to speak to our sales department, ask to speak to our Zest Wellness department. We'll be more than happy to assist you.
I'm sure. Naval, why is this so important to Atlantic Medical? Because you're not even always here, and it's always something new that you guys are creating. When you started the Zest, you started the blog, you were talking to people about different things. It's obviously something that you're very passionate about. Why do you care so much?
Right. Well, obviously we know we're faced with an epidemic here in the country, being the leading country in regards to diabetes in this hemisphere. So I think it's events like these encourage members to know that, take their physical, to be much more holistic approach to wellness, if I may say, to be much more mindful of, obviously, but engaging in some form of physical activity within your work life as well. So these stuff are important factors in living a healthy lifestyle here in the Bahamas.
Okay, all right. And I can't let you guys come on and not ask you about it because it's something that we all look forward to. The Atlantic Medical Fun Run Walk.
Yes, so it's dated now.
Okay.
It's officially the 13th of April. So again, excitingly, our company is working very rigorously to pull off another amazing event.
Right.
And we look forward to inviting the entire public out to our event. Obviously, our proceeds are donated back to the Cancer Society of the Bahamas, even the Diabetes Association of the Bahamas. So we're willing to have as much proceeds as possible so we can make it a grand donation back to those organizations.
Absolutely looking forward to it. Mrs. Scavenger Hunt this time. Will not let that happen again, but we'll be at the Fun Run Walk on April 13th. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And thank you for creating this energy and excitement around wellness and fitness and wholeness as a company and as a team. We thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you. Very much. Valentine's. This is a good man, guys. We're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We're going to be right back after this commercial break.
WTO membership will bring benefits to the Bahamas. These benefits include increased economic growth and development, increased opportunities for Bahamian exports, higher employment, better income for Bahamian workers, lower cost of living for Bahamian consumers, increased choices for Bahamian consumers, modernization in government services, and better relations with trade partners. These benefits, combined with progressive planning and execution by our private and public sectors, will produce a better life for Bahamians.
My name is Regilio Bethel. My position on board Equinox is mate, relief captain. I must say that during our travels and journeys throughout the Exuma Keys, we've had a few dark or dead spots. Basically, there was no service. They were just dark spots. We would basically be dead ship out in the cold without any communication. And it's been like that for years, and we've gotten used to it. But life has now provided us with a service which we can stay communicated during our entire voyages. And I've been waiting for Live to bring their service up to more coverage throughout the Bahamas, which they've done in an amazing amount of time. So yeah, I would encourage them all to get that service. It's an awesome service, no interruptions, and it's awesome.
Back to Bahamas at Sunrise. The 21st edition of the Grand Bahama Business Outlook is scheduled for Thursday, February 21st at the Grand Lacaille Resort under the theme Connecting Resources, Maximizing Opportunities, and of course, Transformation of Grand Bahama. Very pleased to be joined this morning by one of the presenters. Boy, he's the Grand Bahamian Ambassador, amongst other things, and of course, you know, just a good all-around guy. David Wallace, welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise, man.
It is certainly a pleasure to be with you. It's certainly a pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
And I figure the conference could not have come at a better time in Grand Bahama.
I mean, it's really been the talk of the country over the last several weeks, all of the different things that are happening in Grand Bahama. We're very privileged to be you know, participating in the Outlook. Shivargo Lang, of course, is the chief negotiator for the Bahamas, is going to be talking about the WTO. Giora Israel, she's senior vice president. He's the senior vice president of Global Port and Destination Development with Carnival Corporation.
He was the one who just made the grand announcement in Grand Bahama on Monday evening. I think that was probably one of the highlights of Grand Bahama since the signing of the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement in 1957, probably.
You know, that's a serious statement you're making right there, David, because I don't think people are quite grasping the significance of what these announcements and the potential impact that they can have on the Grand Bahama economy.
Especially a company like Carnival, who is deep in its pocket, and I said to persons after the announcement, Carnival is not building a cruise port hoping somebody brings their ship to its port. Carnival is building a cruise port for its own ship.
For an established market.
Absolutely, and when you check the history on Carnival and see the ports that they've built, and how they've been able to transform those ports, I think we in Grand Bahama have not yet realized the impact that this will have. And it is important for persons to attend the Outlook, where more information will be given, to no doubt, to help businesses along. That night at Christ the King Anglican Church, when you saw the room packed with the business persons in Grand Bahama, I think it left more hope for Grand Bahama than in a very long time. The shipyard and the container port gave us great hope, but they impact the mail. I think the cruise port is going to impact the average persons there, especially the women who I think, and young persons who are looking for a future in the tourism business.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're talking entrepreneurship. I mean, the creation of businesses, the expansion of businesses. Also scheduled to speak is Derek Newbold. He's the business development manager at the Grand Bahama Port Authority. And of course, Davinia Blair, who's been making the rounds throughout the Family Islands. Of course, she's been to Grand Bahama a couple of times. She's the executive director of the Small Business Development Center. So looking for quite a time there in Grand Bahama on 21st for this edition of Business Outlook.
No doubt. And Derek Newbold from the Grand Bahama Port Authority, I'm told just yesterday the other announcement was made about the Mexican group who's looking at transforming the Freeport Harbor. That's a great announcement. I think there are one or two other announcements. As you know, the Cabinet of the Bahamas held its meeting at Freeport on Tuesday, and I am told that agenda was a lot of applications for Grand Bahama. And so I think Crazy Thompson, who is expected to, the Minister Crazy Thompson, who's also expected to speak, is going to talk about some new things that's going to happen for Grand Bahama.
Good, good. It's been a long time coming.
No doubt.
Long time
And, you
coming.
know, say what I always say to persons, the infrastructure is laid out for Grand Bahama.
Yeah.
I'll talk a little bit about the power of pooling your resources. I think Bahamians need to understand what the Sunshine Boys did some 50 years ago. If we can get groups of Bahamians to duplicate that effort, I think we have a very good chance of owning more of this Bahamian pie.
Untapped potential.
It is.
But listen, you also the general manager of Pirates Cove Zipline and Water Park. Tell us a little bit more about that.
You know, it's amazing. About 6 years ago, we were able to pull together about 26 Bahamians who all threw $50,000 in a pot. And that's how we raised the $1.3 million to put a zip line in Freeport, one in Nassau, and one in Grand Turk. We wanted to put it in Nassau first. We applied to the government in 2000 and I think 13 or 14 to put it in Nassau. It took a little time. We never got the approval.
Right.
And so we didn't want to wait. So we decided to do it in Freeport. And it's amazing. We applied to the Grand Bahama Port Authority, and within 2 weeks of that application, we got the approval and we got a lease on 7.43 acres of land in Freeport, Grand Bahama. And so that's why we built it in Freeport first. But you know, it's all working out for the good, because now with all these announcements of the things that are coming to Freeport, Freeport is going to take off. But we are here, I'm here today too to continue the process of pushing together the approval for the Nassau zip line. And once we would have put it in Nassau on Western Espionage between Junkanoo Beach and Awak Key.
That's a perfect location.
Perfect location. Tourists can walk. You know, Nassau gets an average of about 6 cruise ships a day. The beautiful thing about the zip line, it comes with a water park and other activities. And so in Grand Bahama, persons can do a jet ski, banana boat, a parasailing ride. They can have a beach massage. They can, no doubt, eat at one of the 3 restaurants on the property. We built this wonderful bar around the street, and we're getting some great comments, 5-star rating for persons who come to the property. And so we are encouraging Grand Bahama. Employ presently about 33 persons directly and another 20 persons indirectly who work in the park. And with all the announcement coming to Grand Bahama, we see us expanding that to probably doubling.
You know, we talk about this all the time, the potential for our country. You know, it's always been in tourism and, of course, financial services, service-oriented type of economy. But this diversification, even within tourism itself, I mean, look at what you're doing, and we're just kind of just getting started in the potential to just really grow this industry way above where we are currently.
And one of my board members always reminds me that we keep talking about the tourism potential. The locals and persons who come to Nassau, if you can have a zip line in Nassau, you have a population of 300,000 persons in Nassau. And so again, it gives the opportunity, limitless opportunity. And we're looking at expanding Nassau to where we put in you could imagine strapping 3 persons together, putting you in a ride that lifts you up 75 feet in the air and just swings you along. There are some other things that we can put into the park that will continue to redevelop the park. Like Disney World. The first time we went there, it was just a small world after all. Now we go to Space Mountain. And so we're looking at a phased development that continues to develop this concept that we have.
Yeah, we'll close on Grand Bahama. Why is it just so important to the entire country that we just reestablish Grand Bahama?
You know, Grand Bahama is the second city, a well-planned city that Wallace Groves, and then the late Edward St. George and the late Sir Jack Haywood would have continued to plan along with Sir Albert Miller. The transition now of the Sarah St. George and her brother, along with Ian Roll and the Derek Newbold, they are taking it to the next level. And so the reason for Grand Bahama is many persons have moved away from Grand Bahama during this recession time to find employment in Nassau, in Abaco, in Bimini, in Eleuthera, and in Turks and Caicos. And so I think this gives an opportunity for persons to come back home where they can be with their family, but more importantly, they can provide, and people just want to take care of their family and support them financially.
All right, well, listen, I got to make it over there to be a part of that zip line. Well, I certainly got to make it over there on the 21st to hear you speak and elaborate a little bit more.
And we want to encourage persons to register, especially business persons in Grand Bahama. They can register at the Chamber of Commerce office in Grand Bahama. That's Muslin Ferguson at the Chamber. Or they can go to tclevents.com online and they can register for the 21st. When I heard the topic and the theme and the announcement came with Carnival, and now with the second announcement, hey, time to find out what's going on in our country, be a part of it.
Yeah, of course, you can also contact The consulate right here, 322-1000 to register. All right, David,
Correct.
listen.
It's always a pleasure.
Always a
Phil,
pleasure.
you wouldn't get old. I mean, it's amazing.
You
From the
just,
Chamber
like
of
you,
Commerce.
just keep the hair low.
Absolutely.
Keep the hair low. You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
WTO memberships will bring benefits to the Bahamas. These benefits include increased economic growth and development, increased opportunities for Bahamian exports, higher employment, better income for Bahamian workers, lower cost of living for Bahamian consumers, increased choices for Bahamian consumers, modernization in government services, and better relations with trade partners. These benefits, combined with progressive planning and execution by our private and public sectors, will produce a better life for Bahamians.
Aunt Jemima Pancake Mix, now $4.99 at Solomon. Aunt Jemima Syrup, now $4.19 at Solomon's.
Mark E. Dean is an American computer programmer and inventor. He played a pivotal role in the development of the color PC monitor, the industry standard architecture system bus, and the first gigahertz chip. He obtained a bachelor's degree in engineering at the University of Tennessee in 1979. Shortly after graduating, Dean worked for IBM. During his time there, he and a colleague developed new systems that allowed devices such as the disk drives, printers, and monitors to be directly plugged into computers. He went on to obtain a master's degree in electrical engineering from Florida Atlantic University in 1982 and a PhD in electrical engineering from Stanford University in 1992. Dean holds 3 of IBM's 9 original patents and has more than 20 patents associated with his name. He is currently the interim dean and John Fisher Distinguished Professor of the University of Tennessee Tickle College of Engineering. A Moment in Black History is brought to you by Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity and by the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority in conjunction with the Consulars Limited.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. We're at the halfway point on this marvelous Monday. We hope that you've been enjoying the show so far.
Good show. Always a good show, actually. Information is power, like they say.
Indeed.
And you felt really empowered, having the conversations with Laura and Andre. You know, I'm a little spiffy today because I know those guys always bring it, so it's going to be a rough month. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to wear for the next 2 weeks of February, you know.
No, my brothers at the A5 fraternity, they certainly do bring it. But it's more than just the physical with them and the AKs.
Yeah,
they certainly know how to present well, but really their minds are just brilliant and
good
sharp.
people. Good people.
Really good people. Really good people. Of course, I had a good conversation with Donovan and Naval from AMI, and we were talking about their Zest for Life challenge.
Yeah, I was watching it while you guys were talking and had them running around Bay Street and doing their exercises. But, you know, hey, the more we focus on ourselves, you know, and I guess you're going to probably talk a little bit about this with Carlos as well, that the body is just such an amazing thing. God just, made us in a very, well, as image and likeness, but certainly in a very special way. This human system that we have is so incredible, and it's our responsibility to take care of it.
Yeah, I think it really is, and for so long we just don't do anything with it, and then we get to a certain age and we wonder why things start to fall apart. But it's been fighting for us for so long
that's what happened last year.
That we really have to fight for it. You know, we really have to fight for it. So always a good conversation with them, and I'm looking forward to continuing that conversation, speaking specifically about our children, how we protect our little babies. Going to be talking with Dr. Carlos Thomas about the measles outbreak in the United States, what that means for us here in the Bahamas, and
hopefully
how we can
means nothing.
Hopefully. But you know, in this global world where people are traveling, kids are coming and staying in our hotels, you know, we have to be very careful about that because we are very wide open to the international community.
Yeah, no doubt. And of course, Naughty's here. Love Fest comedy show, the 10th edition. Lots of fun. I mean, you should have given me a heads up, man. I thought the red and white thing was Friday's show.
Yeah, no.
It has to happen before.
Well, see, yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of like how you prepare for Christmas.
I got you.
And then Christmas comes and everybody takes everything down.
And then it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So it's the same thing with Valentine's Day. Like you do it before, because then after it's just done.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Godfrey, I hope that you're wearing your pink bow tie wherever you are. Here you are with our second look at weather.
Weather at sunrise. Brought to you by Bahamas First. First in insurance. Today, tomorrow.
Thank you, guys, and good morning, Bahamas. In your second look at weather, sunrise. High pressure north of the islands continue down weather feature, with some patchy clouds across the island on your satellite pictures this morning. In your marine forecast, winds today east to southeast at 15-20 knots, seas 4 to 6 feet over the northwest and central Bahamas, easterly at 15-20 knots, seas 4 to 6 feet over the southeastern islands. On Tuesday, those winds become southeasterly at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet over the northwest Bahamas, east to southeast at 15 knots, sea 2 to 5 feet over the central Bahamas, and easterly at 15 knots, sea 3 to 5 feet over the southeast Bahamas. Then on Wednesday, I have the frontal boundary, southerly winds at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 west Bahamas, east to southeast at 15-20 knots, seas 4 to 6 feet over the central and southeastern islands. Your tides. You can expect a high tide 11:51 this morning. Next low tide will be at 6:10 this evening. High gain tomorrow morning at 30 minutes past midnight. Sunset will be 5:59 this evening. Rises more at 6:46. UV index 8. Your water temperature 73 degrees Fahrenheit. And your moon phase first quarter. That's what's dropping your final look at weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to the show.
Thank you so much, Godfrey. Now, we've heard about the measles outbreak in the United States. There have also been cases in Israel, Venezuela, and the Philippines. What does this mean for us as a threat here in the Bahamas? Well, we wanted to bring in our resident pediatrician to talk us through it. And so we've got Dr. Carlos Thomas with us. Of course, he is a pediatrician from Dr. Carlos Thomas and Pediatric Associates, and he's going to tell us more. Dr. Thomas, good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning to you and good morning, Bahamas.
Always a pleasure to have you with us. And under these set of serious circumstances, really wanting to find out from you, first of all, what is the measles and what does that look like?
So measles is also called rubeola.
Okay.
It's a disease that's been described as early as the 7th century.
Wow.
It's a viral infection, has an incubation period of 10 to 12 days,
Okay.
which means from the moment you're exposed until you become sick, it's just under 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then the symptoms include fever, a cough, runny nose, red eyes, and a rash appears a couple of days later.
Okay.
It's highly contagious, highly infectious.
Okay.
It's spread by coughing or sneezing, or even on surfaces. If someone coughs on a surface and you go by an hour or so later and you touch its surface and touch your face, your nose, your mouth, you become infected.
Okay.
Now, the reason we're so concerned about measles is that for a long time we didn't hear about measles.
Right.
For example, in the Bahamas, our last case was 1997.
Okay.
But over the years, there's been a decline in vaccine rates locally and abroad. So in about 2012, we boasted in the Bahamas over 95% of our children being vaccinated.
Right.
Now we're down to high 80s, which is very concerning to us.
Wow. And then, so we know how it looks and how it manifests itself. Is it life-threatening? Why should we be concerned about it? Because runny nose, rashes, kids get those all the time.
Yes.
What about this is different that makes it scary for kids to experience measles in particular?
Let me first say the most vulnerable population are those children under 5 years old.
Okay.
You and I could get it if we were not vaccinated, but you're more vulnerable and the side effects are more severe.
Okay.
And they include pneumonias. You can have brain injury, you may have seizures, you may
Wow.
have deafness, and in some cases deaths.
Wow.
So for example, right now in the Philippines, since January 26th of this year, they've reported over 18,000 cases
Wow.
and many deaths.
Wow.
So they've seen a 5-fold increase in measles in the Philippines.
Wow.
And we're only a
that's
plane right
crazy.
away from someone coming over here with
Yeah, I mean, when we think about our Filipino population, like we have certainly a significant one. We have the Miss Bahamas Philippines pageant. We know very well many Filipinos that work with us, and so you consider the fact that we're quite open to this, especially if we aren't protecting our kids. What have been the causes for the decline in vaccinations? I'm a new mom, so obviously I know there's certain times when I go and I make sure that my daughter gets her vaccines. I've obviously heard the reports of the connection between vaccines and autism. Has that been the driving force for why we've seen those rates decline?
Yeah, there's concern about vaccine safety.
Okay.
And particularly its risk for autism.
Okay.
Now, all the studies that have been done have not proven a cause and a causal link between vaccine and autism.
Okay.
There must be some kids who become autistic who have had vaccines,
Mhm.
but vaccines are considered to be safe and the most effective way of protecting yourself.
Okay, all right. And so we want to encourage people then to get those vaccines.
We strongly encourage, when I say we, the Ministry of Health, the Public Health Department strongly encourages 2 vaccines in early childhood.
Okay.
The first vaccine is given between age 12 to 15 months,
Mhm.
typically at 1 year in the Bahamas.
Okay.
And the second dose is given between 4 to 6 years.
Okay.
And one of the things that makes the vaccine so effective is that the measles virus has just one, we call it antigenic type.
Okay.
And so after one vaccination, your immunity is above 90%.
Wow.
And after 2 vaccines, it's unlikely you'll get measles.
Okay, excellent, excellent. And so we really want to encourage people to get those vaccines. And of course, you can find them at your local clinic, right? And so it's not just that you have to go to a private doctor
all
to
the
get
community clinics have vaccines available.
Okay, and is it still the case, and I don't know if you would know this or not, that you have to be vaccinated to go into our schooling system, or have we relaxed those laws a bit?
The public schools still insist
Okay.
that you have full vaccination, and most of our private schools.
Okay.
And some of the ones who are more laxed are now being pressured to make sure all our patients, all our students
Mhm.
are fully vaccinated before entry.
Excellent. And that gives me some confidence. One of the questions that I did have for you, though, is what happens if one person in the environment gets it? I heard, and I want you to clarify this for me, that we break down our overall immunity as a grouping, as a nation, as a socio group if we stop taking vaccines and then people within the community start to get it. How does that work?
I'm happy you brought it up.
Mhm.
So there's this concept in epidemiology called the herd effect.
Right.
So the more persons in your community who are vaccinated, the lower the chance that that virus will enter the community.
Okay.
So for example, in the United Kingdom,
Mhm.
they boasted 93% or so compliance rate with MMR
Mhm.
in the 90s.
Mhm.
And in late 1998, there was a false report
Mhm.
that there was a link between autism and the vaccines.
Right.
There was a decline in their vaccine rate to the 70s.
Wow.
And within 6 months, there was an increase in measles.
Wow.
So we have seen in any jurisdiction when there's a decline in vaccine rates, there's a risk of measles re-emerging.
Okay.
And we're very concerned in the Bahamas that we're
Mhm.
having a decline in the vaccine rates.
Yeah, well, everybody watching Bahamas at Sunrise is going to listen to this conversation and know that no, that has not been proven, and that it is always better to have a healthy child rather than to worry about what has been a myth and not been proven. So we're trusting that they will hear this conversation and go out and make sure that they have those vaccines.
And also the vaccines have always served 2 purposes.
Mhm.
One, to protect the individual,
Mhm.
but also to eventually protect the community, the nation, and to try and eradicate diseases from the world.
Yeah, certainly lofty goals in terms of vaccines and proven ones, so we want to keep on that track. While I have you with me, I want to find out about the scabies outbreak. We've seen that here locally. Is there anything that we can do about that?
Yeah, so scabies is caused by a mite,
Mhm.
which gets under the skin. It's found in carpets and older beddings and furniture in the dirt. And it can cause a lot of discomfort,
Okay.
itching, a rash, and it's a big problem.
Mhm.
It's treatable.
Okay.
And the recommendation is that if one person in the household has it,
Mhm.
the entire household should be treated.
Okay.
All the bed linen and so on should be washed in hot water.
Okay. All right, so something simple enough.
Yes.
Well, Dr. Thomas, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us today. Certainly, we have cause for concern, but if we do our part in terms of vaccination, we should be okay.
That is absolutely correct.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us this morning on Bahamas at Sunrise.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be back with more after this commercial break.
Quaker Oats, old-fashioned and quick. Now $3.79 at Solomon's.
I always wanted to come back to the College of Bahamas. I wanted to be a faculty. When the opportunity came for me to be Vice President of Operations, I said, well, let me try that first. It makes me proud because I was here before. I feel as if now I'm sort of like a beacon for those students who are here to say, hey, listen, I can actually be a Vice President. I can actually be one of the big leaders at the university. I'm Ronnie Stevenson, and this is my UB.
Apply today at www.ub.edu.bs.
Grand Bahamas' biggest business conference. Be there Thursday, February 21st at the Grand Lucayan Resort at 8:30 a.m. Keynote address by Senator the Honorable Kwesi Thompson, Minister for Grand Bahama. Register now. Contact Margaret Albury at the Councilors Limited at 322-7505 or Merson Ferguson at the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce 242-352-8329 or register online at tclevents.com. Grand Bahama Business Outlook 2019.
So who really own the Nassau Container Port?
Boss, that's easy. The government.
I do.
I do.
Thank you.
I do.
I do. And one day, he will too. I do. Knock knock.
Here at the Nassau Container Port, we've diversified our ownership to give hardworking Bahamians a piece of the economic pie. And we'll continue to grow so that we can give you a consistent return on your investment. That's our promise.
Nassau, how y'all doing out there? February 14th, we telling jokes on Valentine's Day. Love and laughter, boy. That's what it's all about. So I hope y'all got them tickets, man. Shout out to Naughty for putting this show together. I hope his knee is feeling better. I told him to rub it with some conch bubby. That'll get his knee right. You know what I mean? But I'm getting my luggage together. I'm getting all my snacks ready for this trip because I don't know if y'all got Little Debbie's over there in Nassau. So I'm getting all my snacks together for this trip so I can come over there and have a great time. So I hope y'all ready for laughs out there in Nassau because I'm bringing it. I got a belly full of jokes and I'm going to unleash them all on y'all February 14th. So get them tickets. Get them at the door. Get them now. However you got to do it, but get them. Shout out to Naughty one more time. People in Nassau, forward, onward.
Thank you for coming.
That's Big Heavy Daddy, Trevor Adley, getting ready for Love Fest this coming Thursday, February 14th. But we've got the General in the studio today, the Bahamian king of comedy.
Yes,
Been doing
sir.
it for a long time. We won't say that because that's going to be a trivia question at the end of this.
Been doing it for a hot minute.
A hot minute, but Love Fest, it's the 10th year, Naughty.
10th year. Yeah. I can't believe it's going that fast. I mean, once again, Good Morning Bahamas, and yeah, like you said, it's the 10th annual Love Fest. Can't believe it's gotten to number 10 already. It spawned off the Laugh Fest comedy series that we do in the summer, which is now going into the 12th year. So we saw the demand for another show.
Yeah, yeah.
And I guess Valentine was a no-brainer. People like to go out, you know, and that's what we call
I
it.
was going to say
Laugh now,
Valentine's
love
Day.
later.
Yeah, laugh now, love later.
No, but it's been known statistically that if men can get women to laugh early on Valentine's Day, they will love later on Valentine's Day. So we're trying to help the fellas out, have a good time.
Yeah.
But it's something different. You know, you can still do dinner, you can still do all that kind of stuff, but then you got an opportunity to do a show.
Yeah.
All right, and this year's show is going to be, you know, another one that everybody's going to love. It's at the Courtyard Marriott Nassau at the ballroom.
Yeah.
Totally renovated property.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's beautiful down there. In addition to that, we got the happy hour from 7 to 8. So you come in and you get some cocktails. You know, Flying Dutchman's taking care of the bar. Tropical Gyros is doing the hors d'oeuvres. So you got complimentary hors d'oeuvres from
good
7
prep.
to 8. Good prep. You lay down the foundation, have a few cocktails.
Right.
The more you drink, the funnier we're going to be the rest of the night. I'll tell you that. And it's a great lineup, too. So you have two headliners, co-headliners. You have Barbara Carlisle, who is an absolute legend on the Def Comedy Jam, Comic View, BET circuit.
Okay.
And she coming for the ladies, and she say all the single ladies get with her.
Right.
Because she won't have a Bahamian experience.
Right, right.
She won't go on jet. I told her, don't worry about that. When she with the jet ski, she'll have a good Bahamian experience. We got some
No
good
doubt.
Bahama hosts out there. And Ray Gordon, who's actually blowing up, doing big things. I think he's going to be one of the new faces that you see in the next 5 or 10 years take off in the business. He's been doing it a while, but he's very likable, very enjoyable, very relatable. So if you're a fan of love and music and relationships, he's your guy. He's got some funny stuff there. You just saw Trevor, the big heavy daddy.
Yeah, so
That's
he's bringing the
Trevor Adley.
snacks.
He's an Adley via the Bahamas. His
Okay.
parents went on the contract years ago, and in fashion, you know, he ain't
Yeah,
come back. But he's
right.
in Virginia now. But we like to have other funny Bahamians on the show. So we've had Mark Bethel on before, Mark B. We've had Sawyer Boy. We've had Get Off King. So we've given them the opportunity to cut their teeth in stand-up. And Trevor's another guy who deserves it. He works a lot in the States, and he's been after me for years. So I was like, all right, you bring me some little Debbie pies, you know,
Right.
like in bulk, like
That's
how
how
you
you
do,
paying
we'll
him,
work
right?
it out. I'm paying him in food. He ain't getting no money. He getting conch salad, conch snack, you know.
Yeah, and he's good with that.
And good
Speaking
with
about
that.
cutting your teeth, I mean, you know, the boys won the show right before Super Bowl. You're talking about your sons now.
Yeah.
And maybe one of them has an interest in the...
One of them
in
is
the industry.
actually going to make his comedy debut at
Oh,
Love
wow.
Fest, the youngest, and Donnie is actually going to do 5 minutes to open the show. So you all support him,
Wow.
give him support, because he keeps telling me, this is what I wanted. I like it, I'm interested. I'm like, dear God, no. You don't know what you're getting into. But if there's any member in the family to pick up the mantle,
Yeah.
I think it's him. I mean, his brother Sancho, you can see he's the thinker. He takes after
Right.
his mom.
Right.
He's a smart kid, you know.
Yeah.
But Andoni, he likes to walk on the wild
Yeah.
side a little bit. So
Yeah.
we'll give him 5 minutes to open the show. And I'm proud of it. You can actually look at your progeny doing something like that. So as a father, the proud papa moment, I'm looking forward to it. And his joke's funny.
Yeah.
His joke's funny.
His
He did
joke's
it.
funny.
Yeah, his joke's funny. So you got to come out and check that out. But it's something for everybody. And Pedro Hernandez as well, from the left coast. He's from LA. Very funny individual. So the lineup's solid. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 huge comedians plus myself, plus some great giveaways throughout the night. So it's an ample opportunity to come out and have a good time.
Absolutely. So again, the tickets and...
Tickets are on sale right now. John Shoes, both locations.
Okay.
Fine Threads, all 3 locations. And at Radio House. They're 35 in advance. They're going to be more at the door. And I got to big up the sponsors. I couldn't do it without them. Fine Threads, John Shoes, The Island Game, and KFC Nassau. They've been on all 10 Love Fests.
All 10?
All 10. So I couldn't do it without them. I really appreciate the support from them. And of course, Flying Dutchman came on, did their thing with the bar. Tropical Gyro's been on about 6 of them too. So big up the chef, Carmen, Tropical Gyros, all right? And like I said, it's something that's important for me to do to continue to laugh, because a lot of people don't know this, but 6 years ago, on February 16th, on the morning of Love Fest, of 2013, my mom passed away from cancer, and I had to do that show that night. And the only thing that got me through it was, my mom always used to tell me, you don't know what people are going through, and in that 20 minutes or 25 minutes that you're on stage and other comics are on stage, you take them away from terminal illness, divorce, stress with their business, or all of that kind of stuff.
Laughter is life, man.
Right, there you go. So, and a big thing to her was, whatever you start, you need to finish.
Okay.
So we started it, and we ain't gonna stop it now. So we riding for moms that night too, and that's important for me to continue to do it, because, you know, to honor her memory, and like to do what I do.
Okay.
This is what
well,
I
listen,
do.
you've been doing it for a while, and in fact, the trivia question for those of you watching is, how many years has Naughty been doing stand-up professionally? If you know the answer to that.
And a lot is not a correct
answer. A lot
answer.
is not. We need a number, folks. And of course, you can call 322-1000. And if you win, you get 2 tickets to the show.
2 tickets to Love Fest. We'll hook you up with some prime seats in the front there. Get you some hors d'oeuvres and cocktails, make you feel special. And after the show, you get to actually take some pictures and meet and greet with the comics as well.
Excellent. So the question once again is, how long has Naughty been doing stand-up professionally? We need a number. You win 2 tickets, 322-1000. Naughty.
Yes, sir.
You've been doing it for a minute, man.
For a hot minute, and doing it well.
And I see the gray is
that has nothing to do with comedy. That's all Andoni and Sancho. That's all them. That ain't nothing to do with comedy.
Listen, man.
Always
Congratulations,
good to see you,
man. 10
I'm
is a
glad
good
to see
number
you
too.
doing well too. Don't scare us no more like that,
Well,
man.
listen, man. I hope not too.
But you've been you know, inspiration in that light too, man. You got me trying to, you know, get in shape too.
You're gonna be doing it.
Not when this knee get better.
When this knee get better.
Good to go.
Right,
But thank
man.
you for having me. I always appreciate being here at Bahamas at Sunrise, man. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Naughty. You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We've been with the king of Bahamian comedy. Naughty, I was going to say your last name, but I don't want to, no.
Don't go out like that, Miller.
Right.
You good. Naughty's good.
We're good. All right. We'll be right back.
Thank you for coming out and supporting what we do. This is what I do for a living, because comedy is, quite honestly, the best job you can get without a drug test. So that's why I do it. I don't want you guys to think I'm an upstanding individual. I just can't pass a drug test, you know. I've tried. It just, things don't go my way, you know. Like, I don't even have all the options you guys got. Like, you could take pills or cleanse your system or drink that liquid. I can't do none of that. Like put it like this. Like, if I touch you, you'll fail your drug test. You understand what I'm saying? It's communicable. It's just in my system. I really can't. But
One thing, 2 things, blue thing, old things, things that are small, things that are grand, things that fit just right, and in the palm of your hand. Fox Hill Nursery, a large selection of garden supplies. If you can see it in your mind, you can find it at Fox Hill Nursery.
Grand Bahamas Bahamas' biggest business conference. Be there Thursday, February 21st at the Grand Lucayan Resort at 8:30 a.m. Keynote address by Senator the Honorable Kwesi Thompson, Minister for Grand Bahama. Register now. Contact Margaret Albury at the Councilors Limited at 322-7505 or Merson Ferguson at the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce 242-352-8329 or register online at tclevents.com. Grand Bahama Business Outlook 2019.
How are we making Rev work wonders for you? We are doing it together. You told us what you want, and we've heard you. Want faster broadband? How about speeds up to 1 gigabit per second? Want shorter house calls? 2 hours max. We promise. Want to take your entertainment anywhere? Well, your Rev Go Play app is here. Rev, we've heard you. You speak, we listen. Rev, you and us together.
We want to thank you this morning for watching us in Bahamas at Sunrise. Of course, Tucker and Chelly have been doing their own version of stand-up comedy all through the break. Listen, you guys have a wonderful week. Have a loving week.
A loving week,
Loving
indeed,
week, yeah.
indeed. And of course, we'll be back here with more for you on Friday, so be sure to tune in then. Bye-bye.
Bye.